I'm tired. Aren't you? It's not that I need to lay down and take a nap or maybe get a better night's sleep. Even though that does sound good, my exhaustion is more than that. It it's ingrained, deeper in my psychological process, and it wears on me in ways that I can't stand. I am hoping that by making this video and expressing my thoughts that maybe I can find hope that I'm not the only one that feels this way. It is hard to recall when I did start to feel this level of disconnection that is so palpable you could shake hands with it. I do not plan to show any clips, any other commenters, or footage that can spike your anxiety that I believe plagues us all, whether some of us realize it or not. I want to keep this calm, low stimulation, so maybe what I say will carry more weight with a cooler head. I want to encourage thought. Lastly, when this video wraps up, I want to leave you feeling encouraged to put down the phone, get off the computer, close the social media apps, and disconnect with what I believe has become one of the biggest plagues to humanity's sanity. Welcome to the Tired American. Now, I got the idea for this channel while drowning in negativity. I was doom scrolling through YouTube. I had already deleted all of my social media. YouTube was the only thing I really stuck around because it had more than just what Instagram and Facebook provides. But it feels like humanity has been inundated with nothing but bad vibes. It's in the news feeds. It's become a big theme in movies and TV when all I'm trying to do is escape reality, not be entertained by it. It's all over social media. It's pushed to the tops of your For You pages. It's in classrooms at all levels of education. And it's also in your living room. Why is this? Well, I think it's because it keeps us watching. It gets you emotional. When people get emotional, they stop thinking and they start reacting. I think we're all familiar with the idea of fight or flight. And when you're in no real danger, I think you're going to choose to fight because all we're doing now to fight is type on a keyboard. And there's no repercussions for what we say or how we treat each other. Then you find more people who are emotional and agree with your emotions, which only furthers that response. And then we get our echo chambers that we've created for ourselves today. I don't know about you, but to me that sounds like an abusive relationship. This negativity comes not just from big world news or politics or future outlook. It also comes from the pests of society on a daily basis. People who just stir up problems for the sake of attention and monetizing their stupidity. Lately, this negativity seems even more escapable. This is why I'm tired. I feel dragged down and worn out. Why does everything, everywhere, and all the time have to be negative? I hate the feeling this gives me. I find it even has an impact on my selected speech. I can't say good morning is a greeting. It's just morning. I know this is subtle, but it is definitely a slight indication of how worn down I feel. Nothing seems good. Now, part of the way to overcome this, in my opinion, is to have logical, calm conversations about what is going on. The other way is to not give any of these topics any attention. This mostly has to do with the pests I mentioned earlier, but it can also be applied to some of the bigger corporations. I think we've all heard the term voting with your wallet. Well, voting with your attention is the same thing. By giving the pests and the nuanced stories any attention, you are giving them life and reason to continue acting the way that they do. This mostly applies, like I said, to content creators, but it can also be applied to all other forms of entertainment. If you wonder why you're seeing so much drama content and news content, it's because we're giving them the attention that they so desire. If you want it to stop, then all we have to do is stop watching it. These self-absorbed individuals will realize they are not getting the attention that they crave, and they will change their content to something that will get your attention. This could be good, this could be bad, but they will change. Until they get it right, at least. This is how we start to change the free market of thought from constant fighting to more constructive discussion. When I was growing up, I remember being able and being encouraged to have constructive conversations where no one shouted, no one screamed, and no one left the conversation shaking in anger. It was about dialogue and expanding our perspective. I think we have lost the ability to do this. As far as I know, to regain that ability is we have to practice it. If you want to be good at anything in this world, you have to practice that skill. I encourage you to try and have these conversations with your friends and family. Do not just have a conversation on things that you know you're going to agree on. Something I love to do is playing the devil's advocate in a lot of these situations. I like to argue on the side that I actually think I disagree with, to try and put myself in those people's shoes. I've learned a lot about various topics by doing this, and I've even managed to change my opinion by playing the devil's advocate before. Now, the hardest part for most people will be to have the conversation with no emotion. You'll have to sit there and listen to things that you may not like. But if you keep a level head and keep emotion out of it, you just might be able to consider the other side. It will take effort. You will actually have to try. And that is a hard thing to do. But when you get emotional, it allows you to be manipulated, like I stated earlier. Whether you realize it or not, people have played your emotions against you. To put it in terms we're all a little more familiar with, it's the case of the emotionally abusive ex. They gaslight you, they choose their words very carefully, and criticize you for having a reaction that they don't approve of in order to guilt you into thinking the way they want you to. We have to get used to being uncomfortable again. Just because you're uncomfortable in a conversation does not automatically mean that you are in danger, the situation is dangerous, or the person that is causing you that discomfort is a bad person. Now, this can vary from topic to topic, I will grant you, but overall, just because you're uncomfortable does not mean it's bad. It means you're getting out of your comfort zone and exploring different ideas and trains of thought. And that's a good thing in the majority of these conversations. Now, at least in terms of my generation, I'm a millennial. Don't hold it against me. We were told that our feelings were important. And while that is true sometimes, I think we've pushed this too far. Feelings are not everything. Feelings are manipulatable, and most importantly, feelings are unique to everyone because of our experiences. Now, if this doesn't sound like all news channels or government officials, I think we need to listen closer and remember that what they do and what they say is all to keep you listening to only them. They want you to think the way they think, and everything and everyone else is wrong, and you are a terrible person for not agreeing with everything they say. Because they want the views, they want the ratings. We really just need to get emotion out of our way. It cannot be a primary means of how we interpret the world around us. That's how we've gotten into such a negative state. Logic must prevail. It was logical when you got away from your abusive ex. It was emotional when you thought about getting back with them when you felt lonely. We as humans do stupid things when we get emotional. For historical context, and in the context of the United States, when we started in World War II, we put the vast majority of Japanese Americans in concentration camps like Manzanar in California. We did this not because of logic, but because we were afraid. We were afraid of what would happen if we let them stay among society. This could have turned people into enemies that would have been our allies. I think it's similar to segregation after the end of slavery in the United States. It was not logical for people to think that we had to keep the communities separated. It was emotion that kept the white communities afraid of what would happen if we mixed. Now, think about what is going on today. Who are the ones that call to your emotions the most? Who appeals to your humanity instead of your human logic? Who calls you names and ridicules you for not thinking the way that they do? Who blocks you from their lives if they don't like your opinions? I know I've lost friends for my thoughts, and it makes me feel disappointed that they thought I was such an evil person because I didn't agree with every opinion that they had. But I guess for now, this is the world we live in. The nice thing I think about coming to this realization is that it is up to us to change the narrative. When people decide that we are tired of being played against each other, we can change the narrative because we are the majority. We can decide together that even though we may not agree on everything, we are still friends, family, neighbors, Americans, and citizens of this world. We can all decide that the powers that be above us do not determine how we go about our everyday lives. We can do this in America by voting, and then when we win or lose, make the best of the situation instead of just fighting and wallowing in negativity and letting people tell us how we're supposed to feel. At the end of the day, it really is up to us how much positivity is in this world. When we keep ourselves buried in negativity, the negativity becomes our reality. Anyways, this is the introduction to my channel. Just to give you a taste of what is to come and how I plan to conduct these conversations and encourage them to be held outside of the YouTube sphere. So please, disconnect from the internet. Realize that life online is not life on your is not life outside your phone and computer. Go make connections outside. Meet new people in person and connect the way we used to before we had internet and social media. I think you may quickly find that we are all not so different. Now, go make your day, and don't let others make it for you. Have a good one.